Sharp, fearless, and downright hilarious, she's taken the comedy world by storm with her razor-sharp wit and brutally honest takes on relationships and all the awkward moments in between. Please welcome Taylor Tomlinson to the South by Southwest studio. Hello.
Hi, that was so nice. I was like, who are you talking about?
I know, I have to put on my news reporter voice. Yeah, who is he talking? Who's he going to bring up?
They sound cool.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien? Yeah. I kind of wanted to start by asking you something that I feel like I hear all the time in New York. I live in Brooklyn. Is like when someone is funny, people always say, you should do stand-up. I was curious what your thoughts are on that, and also just like what as stand-up as a profession career and how approachable it is.
Ooh, that's interesting. I think it's definitely easier to become a stand-up than it ever has been before. Like, I started doing stand-up 15 years ago. I was 16. And I think I started doing stand-up like the year Mark Maron's podcast started.
Gotcha.
Or like close to it. And I don't know how I would have figured out how to do stand-up without that podcast because it was such a resource. It was just him talking to other comedians about how to become a comedian every week for free. So now there's like so many podcasts. There's so many interviews. There's so many resources for people online who are interested in comedy and so much stand-up comedy streaming. Like, I think it's never been easier to find a way into the industry. And there's so many different ways to make a living as a comedian. Like, I've done every type of gig and like every type
Hotels.com.
Hotels.com. But like, yeah, you could do cruise ships, you could do corporates, you could do churches, you could do colleges. Like, in addition to comedy clubs and theaters, like there's a ton of different ways to make a living at this. So I think it's the best time it's ever been.
Gotcha. You are very popular on social, which I feel like
So are you.
Yeah. But I was curious, are there any things that you really love about that, like finding new maybe audiences, or are there any like drawbacks where it's like you see more critiques, you see more comments and stuff?
Oh, interesting. I don't really look at comments. Do you look
Good.
at comments?
I do, just because I'm curious, and I also want to see what people are thinking, what they're talking about.
Do you have a thick skin?
I don't know. I don't know if I do.
Does anything bother you?
Some things bother me.
Okay.
Does
it bother you when they're right or wrong? When you agree or disagree?
I'd say the thing that bothers me the most is when people have an opinion that is not substantiated. Where if like someone doesn't like they're like, I'm not gonna watch this because blank, and I'm like, oh, that's actually not true.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't CGI, or like, that's the thing the technical nitty gritty. But me, myself, I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really read comments because I just think that's a bad rabbit hole to go down. I think with social media being what it is now, it's just allowed me to have a career that's beyond my wildest dreams as far as live touring goes. So I'm like infinitely grateful for things like TikTok and Instagram being what they are.
Gotcha. In terms of touring, what are, I guess, some of like the most fun memories you have touring? I know that you literally just said that you have like a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you still get super excited before every show? And then are there any things that you like don't always love about it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends where we are. Like we did, the last few cities I was in, I did Toronto, Chicago, and Boston. And those are all cities I've been to and love so much. So I was like so excited to go back and had a list of things to do. And I had friends opening for me. And that's like when touring is the absolute best. And then other times you go to cities that maybe you haven't been to before, you don't have a lot of time there, or there's nothing really to do. And those are kind of the ones where you just go, well, the show will be fun. But yeah, I mean, just getting to travel around with my best friends is like kind of the best. And again, something I never even dared to dream I'd be able to do every week. My buddy Dustin Nickerson and I, he's doing Dallas with me this weekend. And he and I used to tour every weekend together. Now he's on his own tour a lot of the time. But we used to do Dessert Saturday every Saturday, where we were like, okay, we can't have dessert every night because that's irresponsible. But Saturday, it was usually like last night of the weekend. We'd have shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Saturday, we'd have like 2 shows. So we'd do dessert in between those 2 shows.
A little treat.
A little treat, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
When you are going show to show, obviously like a lot of material is the same, but how do you go about choosing where to deviate and how to kind of find your way through material that has to be kind of scripted and set in stone a little bit?
That's a good question. For the most part, it's all written.
Yeah.
But what I've tried to do, especially now with like crowd work being so popular and whatnot. And I genuinely like doing crowd work. Like, if you as a comedian do not like doing crowd work, don't do it. But if you like doing it, hey, people enjoy it. So I try to find natural points in the hour that I'm currently doing to like interact with the audience, ask a question. So it's usually like every 15 minutes, I'm gonna ask somebody something and have like a conversation for a minute. And sometimes those last a long time and sometimes they don't last very long at all. But I like flow and transitions are really important to me. Otherwise I'll lose my place. So it kind of needs to be like, there need to be like bumpers up for me essentially where I go, this is where I'm going to have an unplanned interaction. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know where it's going to happen. And then obviously things come up here and there, but I have generally pretty polite, nice audiences. They're not like screaming stuff out or heckling or anything.
It's calculated spontaneity.
Yes, calculated spontaneity. That's amazing. Yeah, that's like
I'm trademarking that.
what you should.
Yeah,
that's like an album title.
That could be your next special title.
Well, no, that's yours. You gotta name something.
I'm not doing stand-up.
You have to. You can something. Start a band, something. But yeah, I think that, and then also like we do something on this new tour called Crowd Confessions, where people text in either questions for me, like ask me anything, or answers to questions that I have.
Oh, that's cool.
That are like related to the topics in my new hour, which is like a lot about growing up religious and coming out as queer and dating and all this stuff. So that is like a totally unscripted part at the end of the show now that we do like after the openers did their set, after I do an hour or so, and then we bring out a pew and we sit on the pew and we read through people's answers.
That's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I was curious. I'm like a film obsessive, everything like that. When recording a special, how do you go about choosing which venue it's going to be at, or like which take you're going to do? Because obviously you're recording like concert footage. It's like a lot of like compilation. How do you go through that process of deciding what's best and when you're going to do it and where you're going to do it?
Oh man, it comes down to what city you'd like to do it in. Then it's like what venue is available, what venue makes the most sense, where it works on your schedule, because, you know, I tour this material for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then it comes down to like, okay, what cities are left? Or like you have to make intentional choices of like, all right, I want to film it here because I love this city or I love this venue or both. And so I'm going to save that for the end of the tour, hit that last, and that's where we're going to film it. So like for this next one, we found a really cool venue that I don't even want to say, but we found a really cool venue in a city that's like such a great comedy city, like consistently amazing crowds. And it's scheduled for December because that will be the end of this tour, because you want it to be like the best and tightest version, obviously, of the hour. And then usually film 2 shows, and then you have to watch all of them, every angle and both shows.
Do you struggle watching yourself?
Yes.
Why
Do you struggle watching yourself?
Yes. It's more so the voice, and then I pick up on inflections and filler words that I use. Like I'll watch this back and be like, I said twice.
Yeah. Me too. And I'm always like, why are you yelling? Why are you saying like so much? Like I have the same thing, especially with After Midnight as well. Like they played a sizzle reel before the panel conversation, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? Like it's just hearing your own voice is a nightmare. And with social media, like none of us should be looking at ourselves or hearing ourselves this much. But I think I lost track of the question.
That's
sorry.
okay.
See, and I'll watch back and be so
and be like, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Oh yeah, no, it's very hard to watch myself. And so editing specials is really tough for me because like the last one I did, I think I had very little time, so I couldn't like spread it out and do like 2 hours every few days. So I had like 3 days of like 8 hours of just watching and going through frame by frame, and that was tough. But, you know, I'm lucky that Netflix gives me that control to make it exactly what I want it to be before it comes out. So
that's really nice.
Yeah.
In regards to doing kind of like sit down late night stuff, how do you think, how do you think you do? If you could grade yourself. And also I was just curious if there's any added pressure. It's like obviously a fairly male dominated field.
Yeah.
When you look at like, if you're watching like television, any sort of channel guide, it's like Yeah, it's pretty much just guy after guy after guy after guy. If there's any added pressure with that, or if that doesn't even factor in for you.
It's funny, I didn't really think about that at all when I took this job, because I don't think about us as a traditional late night show. We're not a traditional late night show. And I think we've evolved into something closer to a traditional late night show where they added a monologue and a talk show portion. But initially it was all just games. And so to me, I was like, I'm signing up to host this silly game show. And then all the articles were like, the only woman in late night comedy. And I was like, oh, is this a bigger deal?
Is that what this is? Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know. I thought we were just like
I thought we were just having fun.
I thought we were just having
Yeah.
fun out here. But you know, we were taking over James Corden's slot, so it makes sense. And the cool thing about late night, it is this like experimental place where like at its best, I think it's self-aware and silly, and like, isn't it funny that we're on TV right now? Like, what's even going on? So I think our show is closer to a mix between like Whose Line Is It Anyway and America's Funniest Home Videos, but with TikTok. That's like where I think
You
we
fall
land.
in between.
Yeah. And then as far as how I do, I mean, it kind of depends on the day. I think I've gotten a lot better because I've gotten a lot more comfortable. Like when I first started, I was really nervous and panicked about it. And even now it's really funny because like I've done late night appearances on other people's shows since I started after midnight. And I'm like, oh, I don't get nervous anymore because I'm just on TV every day. Whereas like 3 years ago, I was so scared every time I was on a late night show in any way. And now I'm like, we're all on TV, it's fine.
I really like the way you talk about that. Because I also, it's the same thing. I'm on my Sertraline prescription, and
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with being able, like we were just saying, to watch back and agree if I've done well. So it's nice to hear someone else who, you know, deals with anxiety have
Yeah.
confidence in their performance.
Well,
which
yeah,
is,
and I'm sure you feel the same way. Like some days you're like, killed that. And then other days you're like, what am I doing here?
yeah.
You know?
A lot of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, but you do it so much that at a certain point, I mean, I hope you feel this way, where you can look back on everything you've done and go like, well, they wouldn't have me at the Oscars if I was bad at that. You know what I mean? Like, there's all,
Yeah.
you've like,
My last name's not Spielberg, so I'm like, it wasn't that, or like, yeah.
no, but like I mean like you have to be able to look at everything you've done and go, well, I must be good at this because look at everything I've done, you know? Like, I hope you feel that way. Do you feel that way? Anytime you have doubts?
I sometimes have to remind myself that like I'm okay at my job, and it's okay to be confident in that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to just play demure anymore, because it's like that doesn't serve anyone or anything.
No.
It's the same with like I like what you were saying. Like you feel I kind of want to ask this actually, is like what do you feel you've really improved on and gotten better at and have seen like actual progress in with your
Yeah.
work?
I think in regards to the show or like
In the
show, I think just being comfortable on stage and like letting things happen and leaning into the self-awareness of the show, which is something I love so much about the vibe we've created, is like we're not like, I don't think we're too like, this is very important and we're a late night show and we're doing important work here. We're like, this is silly and I can't believe they're letting us do this and we'll edit it out and none of this matters and it's fine. Like, I really like that about our show because I don't think you see that as much. And again, it's very like, whose line is it anyway, where Drew was always handing out points that didn't matter. Like, that's what I'm doing every night. So that's the biggest thing. And then also just, I mean, I hope I've gotten better at this, like making sure everybody feels supported and comfortable and funny on our show. Because I think that's like your first job as a host, is like not to be funny yourself, but to set other people up to succeed and look good. What do you think you've gotten better at?
I think I've gotten better at allowing myself to feel confident. I've always struggled with that, and I'm trying to enter spaces and not shy away. And also, like, I realize I'm 26, which I know people are still like, oh, that's so young. And I'm like, well, I'm not the youngest in the room anymore.
Yeah, that's so funny at 26, you feel that way.
Well, because it's like I'll go on a set, and there's
Yeah.
someone that's 21, and I'm like, you could ask me a question, and I don't have to be babied, which is
Yes.
a nice thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was curious kind of what you're hoping will happen with the future in the show, and also what else you have planned, because I know that you might be doing some writing, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
I'm working on a book right now. which is something I've always wanted to do. So I'm very nervous that it will be bad, but I'm really enjoying the process and I'm really enjoying writing it. So I'm hoping it will not suck. And it's so nice to be able to do something in private for so long. Like everything else I do, like
Has to be public facing.
It has to be public facing. Like I had to get good at being, and who knows, I had to get okay at being a late night host.
Good.
Sorry, you're
Actually,
right. Good. Okay.
No, yeah.
But I had to get better at it in front of people on television every night.
It's trial and error.
It's trial and error, and stand-up's the same way. Like you can't get better at it alone in your room. You can study all you want, you can write all you want, but you have to go on stage and fail and succeed in front of other people. So to be able to just like hide away and hibernate and write something and then show it to like one person who then gives you feedback has been like luxurious. I love it. So again, I am concerned that it won't be up to my standards because I am used to putting something out that I think by the time I put out a stand-up special, I'm like, well, if you don't like this, thousands of people across the world did. Like I made sure. I went to a lot of places and tried this out. So I gathered data, but with
It was scientific. This
Yes,
was a scientific.
exactly. And like even with the late night show, I'm like, well, we have an audience of like 100 people in here. Hopefully this is good, or you guys just are really nice and like me. But like stand-up is like you just run it for so long in front of so many people that it feels so tight and bulletproof. Hopefully by the time you put it out into the world, but yeah, a book is very different. So
A book sounds cool.
I'm excited about it.
Do you
really
have working titles, working anything?
We do. The title is Actually Nevermind.
That's good. Is
Yeah.
it, wait, actually never mind or never
Actu-
mind?
Actually Nevermind, because it's something I say a lot where I
Actually, comma, never mind.
yeah, actually never mind. Like I do that a lot. And so when people had like come to me in the past about writing a book, and I was like, I don't know, like I loved reading female comics books of essays when I was growing up, and it was so inspiring to me, like Mindy Kaling and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and all that.
I was about to ask you some of your favorites.
Yes.
So thank you for immediately, yeah.
And like, more recently like Ali Wong and stuff. So I was like, yeah, when that makes sense, I definitely want to do that. And after I got this show, I was like, okay, I think I've done enough in this business where I could. And I got dumped, and I was like, I need another project. So I was like, I'll rebound with a book. It's fine. And so it's going to be essays about changing your mind, all the things I've changed my mind about, which is literally everything.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask for some more, like you talked about Mark Maron, you talk about Tina Fey, Mindy Kaling. I was curious if there's any other books, podcasts, anything like that, and also if you have a favorite like movie or show about comedians or anything like that.
Favorite movie or show about comedians?
I wrote some down if you need.
Oh, well, I will say that when I was in college, I watched Jerry Seinfeld's documentary Comedian about getting back into stand-up after Seinfeld was over, like so many times. And I still love that documentary and how it shows like the most famous stand-up in the world, like struggling through writing a new hour of material and like letting you see him bomb and like not do so great. Even when he starts he gets a standing ovation every time he goes on stage. So I thought that was like so inspiring and so formative for me. Now I can't really watch stuff about stand-up comedy because I'm so in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's why when we were talking before about, you said it about the studio, about how it's so great because it's hard to watch things that like capture the business. Yeah, that capture the business and are accurate and are still like entertaining and funny. And so, yeah, I think it's really hard to make stuff about stand-up. I thought like Pete Holmes' show covered so much like the church circuit and NACA, like things that a lot of people don't know about as far as stand-up that like I did. Like I did NACA and did the college circuit and did churches, and so I thought they really captured that really well. Yeah, I'm curious, what are some of the ones
Oh, I
you
wrote
have?
down Seinfeld the show, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
Oh, yes.
Bob Fosse's Lenny, Man on the Moon, the Milos Forman one.
Yeah, Maisel I loved, but I didn't. I saw that more as like a period piece.
Gotcha.
I think
less
than-
for the stand-up, more about the story.
Yeah, at least it was for me. I thought the first season, I forget which season it was, but there's one season that had a really great episode of her trying like the same joke over and over and like watching it evolve. And I'm like, that's stand up right there.
I remember it's a cold open. I remember that episode too. I also like her going to the Catskills because I feel like that's something that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. No, that was fun.
And then the last thing I just wanted to end on is for people who want to discover your stuff and want to watch more of it, where they should start. Like, is there a special they should start with? Is there a clip? Is there your show?
That's a good question. I think that if you want to go chronologically, start with my episode of the comedy lineup on Netflix. It's 15 minutes, it's quick, and if you hate it, you don't have to watch anymore. So it's a short time commitment.
That is, if you like it, you can continue. If not, not for you.
That's exactly right. And then, I have 3 specials on Netflix. Quarter Life Crisis is the first one. Look at You is the second one. Have It All is the third one. But if you think you might need some convincing, just start with Look at You, because I think that's my strongest one.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much
for
stopping by and chatting.
It was so nice to meet you.
I'm also excited to read your book now.
Oh, thank you. So it'll be a while. I'll try not to write a bad
I imagine
one.
within like 2 to 3 years.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I could live with that. That's fine. I won't be 30 yet, so that's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I assume that's when I stop reading.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Reece Feldman with the South by Southwest studio. Sweet.
That was lovely. So easy. Thank you.
Can I ask you some of your favorite stand-ups?
Yes.